Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the movie Black Widow. Two orders of business first. First of all, thank you for sticking with me, even though I haven't been posting consistently. Life has been kind of hectic as of late. Two, Marvel just confirmed that Charlie Cox will be returning as Daredevil, and I'm super stoked about that. But without further ado, let's talk about Black Widow. Black Widow is the solo film for Scarlett Johansson's character Black Widow in the Marvel Universe. And I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about this film. When I first heard that it was going to come out, I thought it was going to be like the origin story of Black Widow, like it would take place in the past. Black Widow actually takes place after the events of Captain America's Civil War and before the events of Avengers Infinity War. This movie is directed by Kate Shorthand, who is an Australian director who has done nothing of note. I just keep wondering why Marvel hires these no-name directors to direct movies that people really want to do well, but that's another conversation. So Black Widow follows Natasha as she goes into hiding after the events of Civil War and tries to figure out what life is going to look like and if she's going to be able to get the Avengers back together again. In the meantime, she finds out that Dreykov, the one who ran the Red Room and operated the whole Widow situation, is still alive, even though she thought Hawkeye and herself had killed him many years ago. In addition to that, Natasha is able to reconnect with her family throughout the film, and you go on this journey together as she hunts down Dreykov and the Red Room. Alongside Scarlett Johansson are incredible performances by Florence Pugh, Rachel Weisz, and David Arbor. So the Marvel Universe in general and the all-star cast accompanying this film made me want to watch it, and so I thought I would check it out. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 things that make a movie great. Number 1, the plot. The fact that this movie is connected to the overall Marvel timeline just gives it all the credibility it really needs for people to watch it and be interested in it. But this movie's own plot was pretty well done. Natasha's doing her best to stay hidden away from the government as they're trying to capture anyone who didn't sign the Sokovia Accords. And then she finds out that her sister is still alive and there's someone hunting her down. So joining forces with her sister and her family to go track down this guy she thought she killed already, this is a pretty interesting revenge/family flick. So this plot is not overly complicated, but there's enough of a story there to make it interesting. There are a few things that I wish they would have done better to keep this plot moving forward. A simple plot, interesting characters, good family dynamics, good action. Plot gets a thumbs up. Number 2 is family friendliness. This movie has some violence, it has some profanity, but not an egregious amount. There are some lewd jokes, but they're not disgusting. They're not really distracting from the film. So these things are just scattered throughout the film, but they don't take away from it, and it doesn't raise any red flags. This movie's PG-13, and that's right where it belongs. So family friendliness gets a thumbs up. 3 is acting and script. I really enjoyed all of the acting in this movie. I've always been a fan of Black Widow and how she carries herself with a bunch of other people who are super powered while she's just a Black Widow agent. And so I was excited. Florence Pugh stole the show for me. She just did an incredible job. And it's both in just the way that she acts and the way that she carries herself in this film. All of her lines are really funny and really heartfelt. And just the acting of Florence Pugh just is far superior to anything else in the show that I saw. And that's not to say they weren't good. Everyone else did a great job too. This movie was well acted, but Florence Pugh really just took it to the next level. So acting gets a thumbs up. The script of this movie was pretty good. There was a couple issues here and there that I had with it. One of the biggest noticeable things I had with this movie was on the part of David Arbor. So he plays the Red Guardian, who is basically a Russian version of Captain America that never made it into the limelight. And he's been locked in a prison pretty much this whole time. Throughout the film, he ends up being pretty much the butt of every joke and never finds a moment to redeem himself. That's the biggest issue that I have. It's always nice when films can find the balance between making a character the butt end of a joke and giving them redeemable moments and qualities and just find the balance between that. I don't think that this movie did a very good job of doing that with the Red Guardian, which was kind of a bummer because they had the opportunity. They didn't really have to change much, but they chose not to. Barring what they did with his character, acting in the script gets a thumbs up. 4 is character development. The bonding and character development between Florence Pugh's character and Scarlett Johansson's character was really well done. I heard some reviews saying that the fights that they get in just aren't realistic and they're kind of pointless. And I'm like, okay, but they're siblings. And if you have a sibling, you get in pointless fights. So it makes sense. All the special moments between them and the moments between their parents, there's just bonding and character development that happens naturally throughout the film and makes you attached to these characters. So they do a really good job. Part where character development lacks, which has always been the bane of Marvel's existence, is their villains. There's borderline two villains in this movie. One is Dreykov, and the other is Taskmaster. Now, Taskmaster is such a dope character that I wish they would have done more than what they did, but they included them fairly enough in this film. It was decent, but I didn't really care about Dreykov as the main villain of this film. They didn't do enough to make him seem sinister. They didn't build him up. He wasn't built up in any of the other Marvel films. We don't have any history with this guy. We don't have any experience. We don't know what he's capable of doing, and he pretty much has to disclose how dangerous he is in a monologue at the end of the film. Seldom few villains have been successful in the Marvel Universe, and Dreykov kind of falls flat. Taskmaster is a good villain. I just wish they would have done more. And the Red Guardian not being brought to fruition or even given a moment of redemption kind of falls into character development as well. But the overall family dynamic that they tried to bring into this film with this family is really good. This family's broken and dysfunctional, but they're still a family. And I really liked the message that they were sending with that. So character development overall gets a thumbs up. 5 is CG. Now the CG in Marvel movies is usually high budgeted, awesome, and this movie was no different. The only issue I had with it, again, I know that there was real explosions in this film, there was real fire 1 or 2 times, but a lot of the fire is CG, and it ends up looking fake. It didn't pull me out of the movie enough for me to not enjoy it. CG overall gets a thumbs up. 6 is rewatchability. Personally, I've already watched Black Widow 2 times since it came out, and I've enjoyed it just as much each time. A lot of the Marvel productions post Endgame just have not been up to par in my opinion, and it really just makes me feel like the part of me that grew up watching, Iron Man and seeing the Marvel Universe build into what it is today, it died with Endgame, and everything that has come after has just not been very good. But Black Widow is the only film that has been semblant of that previous Marvel Universe that I grew up knowing and loving, and that's why I love this movie so much. So I'd say that Black Widow is rewatchable. Thumbs up. With all things considered, I have to give Black Widow an 8 out of 10. This movie is entertaining, it has heartfelt moments, it's action-packed, it's funny, it's fun, and you come away with the feeling of just another solid Marvel movie. And with that, I would recommend watching Black Widow on a Friday or Saturday night. I'm excited to see how they move forward with Florence Pugh's character, because I think they had plans for her in the Marvel Universe, but she's an incredible actress, she's an incredible character in the Marvel Universe, and I hope that she may be one of the redeeming qualities of the Marvel Universe from here on out, because I don't have a lot of hope at the moment. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Black Widow, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. I appreciate all your love and support, and I look forward to making consistent content for you guys from here on out. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.